I'm Tom. Welcome to my grow room. I just wanted to do a video today on the importance of recycling, reusing, and reducing waste. When you're gardening or just anything that you're doing in your house, different projects, anytime that you can take something that you might think is garbage and find a use for it is great. You save money, and it helps with the environment rather than throwing stuff out. You know, our culture is a very wasteful one, so the more that you can look at something that somebody might consider garbage and find a use for it is definitely an awesome way to go. So I just rounded up a few things, my little bag of goodies here, that just to give some ideas on what you can use for gardening or for other purposes. And yeah, any ideas that you might have for things that you can use in gardening that are otherwise considered garbage, definitely post your comments. I'd love to get ideas of different things that you can use that you would otherwise throw out. So one of the things that I think is really awesome in gardening is coffee cans. I like this kind because it has a handle built right in, so it's easy to pick up and move around. And you could use this can for a variety of things. It's got a nice sealed lid on it, so you could keep stuff in here that you're going to compost, or you could keep some soil in here, you know, if you just want to have a little bit of soil, or maybe different components of your soil. If you want to keep maybe your perlite or fertilizer or something, you know, it's got a nice sealed lid, so it's not going to let any moisture in, and you know, it's pretty airtight. So, you know, something like this, and you could even, you know, it's pretty big. You could grow a plant in this. So you could keep compost in it, you could grow a plant in it, you could find a variety of uses, or even, you know, you could, as it's got a nice handle, you could have paint in here, and you could use it for, you know, as like a handy paint holder. You know, rather than buying little paint pots for dipping your brush in, you know, find something like this. You know, it's got a nice handle, it works great. I mean, you could put holes in the bottom and the lid fits right on there, so it acts as a drip tray. So, I mean, something just like a coffee can, if you put your mind to it, tons of different uses you could use for these, rather than just throwing them out or just recycling them. Reusing rather than recycling, you know, that's the way to go, because to recycle, you know, they gotta put energy into you know, breaking it down and melting it and whatever they do with recycling. So there's one idea there. Another thing, rather than buying containers, you know, like plastic cups, I love Slushes. I get lots of them throughout the summer. You know, and this is a pretty good sized container that, you know, it's not the thickest plastic, but it definitely works for growing some plants in. So, you know, when you have cups that that you've bought, or bottles or stuff like that, you can, you know, you can plant things in them and use them as growing containers for starting your plants in. So yeah, I mean, it's not the nicest looking thing, but it works, and it's, rather than throwing it out or recycling it, make use out of it. So there's another idea there. Also, little plastic things like this. You know, you get those containers for, you know, fruit, or for like baked goods or whatever. They come in these kind of clear plastic things. I mean, you could use this, you could sit this on top of a plant to keep humidity in, or you could put it underneath, and you got a nice drip tray So you could have a couple pots or little containers in here that you could then have this as a drip tray to collect water. So stuff like this, you know, rather than throwing it out, try to make use out of it. Milk jugs. You know, 4-gallon milk jugs. This one here, I've just locked the bottom off of it. And, you know, in the spring when I'm starting plants outside, when I'm still concerned about the cold, I just stick this right on top. And, you know, take the lid off to let it vent. And you just stick that right on, and it acts as like a, you know, a little mini greenhouse to keep your plants protected from the cold, and while they're adjusting to growing outside. So milk jugs, or you know, a complete milk jug, you can use it to keep maybe compost tea, or you know, liquid that you get out of your composting. You can you know, store that stuff in a milk jug, you know, and it'll keep in there. So there's another idea. Spray bottles. You know, if you know, rather than just throwing them out or recycling them, if you give them a good wash afterwards, I mean, you can keep different things in here. You can maybe have your just water for spraying your plants, or if you're mixing up some kind of pesticide, like dish soap, baking soda, those kind of things, which are good, mild pesticides, which are very safe. You know, you can have those in here and spray, or if you're doing some foliage feeding, you can put fertilizer in spray bottles and spray them on your leaves. So, I mean, you want to be selective about what's been in the spray bottle. If it's something very toxic, you know, you probably don't want to be using it, even if you do wash it thoroughly. But if it's something pretty mild that's been in the spray bottle, then keep it. Then you don't have to go out and buy spray bottles specifically for your gardening. So spray bottles, you can use those. Drinking straws. I really like using drinking straws for labeling my stuff. I can write on it with Sharpie, and you know, stick it down in the plant, and they're very cheap. You can buy a whole bunch of drinking straws for not much, and you can reuse them just with a little bit of rubbing alcohol on some paper towel or something, and it just wipes that Sharpie off really easily. But the Sharpie will last. You know, it can get water, it can get sun on it, and they last pretty good throughout the season. So I love using these for labeling my stuff. So drinking straws, and, you know, and if you're gonna buy them and use them anyway for drinking, you might as well keep them afterwards rather than just throwing them out every time. Keep them for labeling your plants. Another thing, just tins in general. I mean, you can use them if it's a nice tight lid. You can keep your seeds in there. You can store other things, you know, in your grow room. Just little things that you want to keep organized. Tins of all shapes and sizes, you know. Really good way to organize stuff, to store it. And, you know, even something like this, you could grow a plant in this. So looking at, when you're doing container gardening, you know, get creative and look at, you know, something that somebody might think is just garbage and think, hey, I could grow a plant in that. Like, I've grown plants in old teapots before that have been all chipped up. You know, I've grown a little plant in there, and it looks kind of cool. You know, you see a teapot with this nice plant growing out of it, so it's kind of decorative, and you're making use of it. Otherwise, someone, you know, if they had a chipped teapot, they'd probably just throw it out. Other things too, you know, cups, you know, like mugs and stuff. If they got chipped, you know, rather than get rid of them, maybe start growing a little plant in there. So that's another idea. Twist ties. I love to keep twist ties. I'm a little bit OCD about keeping them because I just find they're useful for so many things. I mean, for tidying up wiring, you know, so it's all nice and organized and bundled up together. You know, you twist tie, and then for plants, for you know, if you've got a piece of bamboo cane and you've got your stem coming up, you can loosely tie the twist tie around, so the stem is gonna not go anywhere, but it's got room still to move a little bit and to grow. So twist ties, I love using those in gardening. They work great, and they last. You know, they don't degrade that quickly. So twist ties are a great thing. And then finally, this bag itself. These kind of fabric shopping bags. This one's got a rip in it, which isn't too good, but these work great as grow bags for actually growing stuff in. You can go out and buy, you know, purpose-built grow bags, and those might, you know, they might be stronger. They might have a wire, you know, lip. But you know, if you had something like this, you know, and you could reinforce it yourself. You could run a piece of wire around there, like a coat hanger, and you know, you could make something work, or you just have it where it's a little bit loose. And you know, these are breathable, so you know, you can fill them with soil, stick them in something where they're the liquid is gonna, you know, collect, or if you don't care, you can let it just drain out to whatever surface you've got this on. And I have grown plants in bags like this before, and they seem to do very well. Because of the breathable nature of the bag, you get more air and oxygen into your root system. And the roots, rather than getting root bound like they do in containers that don't breathe at all, when the roots get to the edge of this, and something happens called air pruning. So the root will get to the edge of the bag and it'll stop growing. Rather than when you get root-bound plants where the roots continue to curl around inside the container, they hit the edge of the bag, they are exposed to the air coming through the pores in the bag, and that's it. They stop growing because they have a tip which is collecting air, and they put out feeder roots, which, you know, lots of micro feeder roots, which are really going to build a really healthy root system. So grow bags are definitely a great way to go, and you can buy some. They're not too expensive and they will last you. But if you've got lots of these fabric shopping bags kicking around, try using these. Give them a whirl. They've worked for me, so I would definitely suggest that. So yeah, that's just a little video on just trying to look at ways to make use out of stuff that you know, you might think is garbage. You know, you can you know, one man's garbage is another man's treasure, that old saying. But it's definitely true in gardening and just, you know, projects around the house. Really try to recycle or reuse things, and then if you can't reuse it, at least take it to the recycling depot and let them make it into a new product. And then reducing waste. I'm a really big supporter of composting. I think really most people can compost, and it's not hard to do. You know, there's videos that make it seem very complicated, but you just need to do a little bit of research, and then a lot of the stuff that you'd be throwing out in the garbage, you can make great compost, which is gonna, you know, be great for growing in, for digging into your beds, to make the beds rich. You know, compost is an amazing thing, and it comes from waste. So making compost is a really great way to reduce waste and to have great stuff for your soil, fertilizer, and great growing medium. The more compost you can get, the better. So yeah, those are just a few things, just a few ideas that I quickly thought of. I just went around my house and grabbed some stuff, And yeah, little things that you can do to make use out of something that seems useless. If you think about it hard enough, you can find a use for pretty much anything. So that's just a quick video on recycling, reusing, reducing waste, and I really encourage people to be creative and put in your ideas in the comment section. I'd love to hear some neat ideas on ways to reuse things or to make use out of something that is otherwise seen as garbage. But take care, everyone. Bye.